battle shape up? How will you win? Let's get started! Welcome to the world of Street Fighter 4!
Hey guys, this is T-Bird. Welcome back to my tutorial number 5. Today's topic is Hyperarmor. We need to insert Hyperarmor here because many people have requested a tutorial on focus attacks, and Hyperarmor are a major part of focus attacks. So in order to fully understand it, we need to take a look at Hyperarmor first. Okay, let's get started. First of all, what are the properties of Hyperarmor? Well, Hyperarmor absorbs one hit. You have already seen that in earlier tutorials. And it's important for you to remember that it absorbs one hit only. So as soon as the opponent uses a 2-hit attack, your Hyperarmor will basically fail you. Let's take a first look at Hyperarmor in action. As you can see, the medium kick is basically absorbed. Balrog still takes something that is called temporary damage. It's important for you to understand how temporary damage works, because your life bar will be grayed out for a certain time and the damage will regenerate. However, if you are hit before your damage has regenerated fully, you will lose all the already inflicted temporary damage. So, if a large amount of your life bar is temporary damage, then you need to play extra defensively and cautiously to not get hit. This will be especially important in the next tutorial. But added to this, in Super Street Fighter 4 again has a new Ultra, which basically deals 40 to 50% temporary damage to your character. If you are hit by that Ultra, you must play absolutely cautiously to not lose a large amount of life. The last important aspect of Hyperarmor is the fact that even though the damage you take regenerates, you still gain meter for your Ultra. This also becomes important in the next tutorial. I will show you how you can basically fill your Ultra meter for free. So in the end you should be there with full health and a full Ultra meter. Of course, this doesn't work against every character, but especially if you're starting out playing online and you have those Hadouken spammy cans or Ryus, you will really appreciate this technique. So, what should be your strategy when dealing with Hyperarmor? First of all, your moves, some of your moves, have an attribute that is called armor breaking, which means it breaks the Hyperarmor immediately, which is indicated by a glass shattering effect on the screen. Now you probably want to know how you can identify the moves that are armor breaking and are part of your character's arsenal. Well, I could say that depends on your character, and it does, but there is an easy way to find out. As you can see on the screen, in Street Fighter 4, moves which have the armor breaking property are indicated with a red star when you look at the command list. In Super Street Fighter 4, this symbol has changed. Now the moves can be identified by looking for a lightning symbol. Now let's take a look at armor breaking moves in action. First of all, we see Guken and his Sengoku Shoha. And please note the glass shattering effect. That is always very important. If you see that effect, then you can be 100% sure that this move is armor breaking. And in the second example, we see Sakura with her version of the Hurricane Kick, which is armor breaking as well. So how else can you beat Hyperarmor? Well, it is important to know that Hyperarmor does not defend against throws. So any kind of throw attack will just work as usual. So it is not like one could think one throw is absorbed. No, you will be thrown just as usual. Take a look at the video. Last but not least, there is the possibility of using a multi-hit attack against Hyper Armor moves. If you have plenty of time, this is usually pretty easily done. Take a look at Sakura, who easily beats the Hyper Armor. But then there are cases where timing is a big issue. For example, if Balrog is dashing at you, then the startup of some attacks may be too slow. Now, let's think about it. The best way to stop Balrog would be a projectile. But you know, Ryu's Hadouken only hits once. Well, does it? Think about the lesson about EX moves. Simply use an EX Hadouken, which doubles the hits of the projectile, as you should know if you have watched my tutorial about EX moves. And see, that's a great thing about Street Fighter. It's a battle of minds as well as of execution. Balrog knows you can stop him with one Hadouken, so he uses the EX move with Hyper Armor. You know he just used the EX move with Hyper Armor, so you have to use the EX move as well to double your hits and negate his Hyper Armor. Okay guys, this is already the end of tutorial number 5. I guess all your questions about Hyper Armor are now answered. It's a little shorter today, but it was important that you completely understood the concept of Hyper Armor, and we will move on to focus attacks in the next tutorial, so stay tuned. I'm already working on the next tutorial. If it takes a few days longer, please be patient. Sometimes I have to do things in real life, but tutorial number 6 is on the way.